from there. Right, we are now live in the Facebook group, on LinkedIn, YouTube, and of course over there, TikTok. I will be looking, well, if you see me looking from one place to another, that is because I'm obviously not doing everything on one phone. I'm going to cover yo-yo dieting today. Obviously, for those who don't know who I typically coach men who are over 40. I've got guys everywhere from about 38 to 64 at the moment. They're typically, normal dudes, jobs, businesses, kids, wives, social lives. So they're just normal guys that want to be healthy and in shape, and they don't want to obviously be like bodybuilders. So one of the things they obviously struggle with for years is yo-yo dieting. I don't think I've ever spoken to somebody about weight loss. I don't think a client has ever come into my program who has said to me, this is the first time I've tried to lose weight. It's typically that they've tried to lose weight several times. Sometimes they've succeeded in losing weight, but you got to take that with a pinch of salt, because if you regain the weight back, then of course you haven't lost weight. So this is what we are going to talk about today. How do you fix yo-yo dieting forever? How do you lose weight, get healthy, have a body that you like, have the energy for your kids, have a better relationship with food? How do you do all those things permanently, versus doing it for a week or two or a month, maybe 6 months, and then falling off the wagon? One bad day turns into a bad week or a bad month, and before you know it, you've gained the weight back. Or, you may have been motivated for something like a holiday, a reunion or a birthday or something, and then after the event happens, you then fall off the wagon again. So that's what we're going to cover today, because when people come into my program, when I'm taking on clients, I don't want them to lose weight while they're working with me, and then I don't want them to gain it back, because, well, one, it's a waste of money. And one of the things I like to do quite a lot, and you'll see this if you follow me, is I will often talk about clients that I worked with many years ago, because I posted with one of my clients the other day, Tim. I worked with him. I think we said we were chatting. I think I helped him lose weight about 6 or 7 years ago. And he's still in the gym. He posted in my Facebook group, in the chat. So those of you that may have seen it on Facebook, he posted a photo of himself in the gym. He's almost 60 now. I started working with him when he was early 50s, and he's still in great shape, slim, getting stronger. And, the reason why he wanted to lose weight initially was his diabetes, still under control. And it's very uncommon for men to lose weight and keep it off even for a year. Statistically, if you look at the stats, it's quite tough for people to do it. So for anybody to lose weight for 5, 10, and for life, it's not that common. And that's what I want to try and help you fix. That's obviously the problem I'm helping most men fix. Most men can lose weight. They just can't lose enough weight to be happy and then keep it off. So there's the problem there. Dog's going to start barking because it's getting a bit that time of day when it's busy around where I live. Right, problems, the reasons why people yo-yo diet. Typically, of course, it often becomes a thing that you can't follow. So one of the reasons why people fall off the wagon is that they don't have the right strategy. So it's, as a crude example, if someone said to me, Phil, to lose weight, you need to go running at 5 a.m. I'm not a morning person and I hate running, but they said, you need to go running at 5 a.m. I want you to do a low carb diet, and I want you to be, just to make it kind of extreme, a vegan. Someone said, right, this is the plan you need to follow to lose weight. I would look at it and go, well, I hate mornings. I hate running. I quite like carbohydrates, and I don't want to give up meat. If you said to me, do that strategy till you go on holiday, I might be able to do it. But if you said to me, right, Phil, the only way you're going to be able to keep the weight off forever is if you go running at 5 a.m., you cut out carbs completely, and you become a vegan, I'd be like, that's not going to happen. This is the mistake a lot of men make. They choose diets and training plans that just don't align with their preferences, their goals, or in the case of my clients, because they're busy, they travel a lot, they have lots of business meetings and client meetings, it just doesn't work with their lifestyle. So there's kind of the first reason why a lot of men yo-yo diet. The strategy they are trying to do is impossibly difficult. Number one. The fix for that is very simple. There are many ways to lose fat. All of the diets that you know about, you read about, will work. The question you should be asking yourself is, which one will work best for me? So going back to my crude example, I'm not going to do a low carb diet. I'm not going to become a vegan. I've tried some low carb diets. I've tried some of the stuff like I've done diets where I've cut carbs out at 4 p.m. I talked about that a lot yesterday. I've done all this stuff that's stupid. I've been doing this for a long time. I wouldn't do it again because I know I don't need to do it. So what if you are somebody that is struggling with yo-yo dieting? I would imagine, based on talking to lots of men, that you probably choose diets, and I'm going to say, and training plans that are not very easy to follow. Simple as that. Like you do it for a couple of days or a week or even maybe 6 months, but the whole time it's like, I hate this. So that's the first thing to fix from a kind of a strategy point of view. If you're a yo-yo dieter, and there's something I add actually, is if you are a yo-yo dieter and you fail a certain diet, it doesn't make sense to then go back to that diet again. I get so many men that I speak to them on the phone and they'll say, I tried the ketogenic diet 5 years ago. I lost 2 stone, lost 5 stone. It really worked for me. I might try it again. And I think to myself, if it works, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So there's the first reason for yo-yo dieting. Restrictive diets, diets that make you hungry, training plans that you dislike or are too time consuming. The fix for that: stop listening to marketing, stop thinking there are certain diets that are best for you, stop doing like endless running if you hate it. Like I've been in pretty good shape. I've done bodybuilding competitions and made British finals, and I didn't run once to get in shape for that British final. I didn't run to do that. I didn't take any fat burners. What else did I not do? I didn't do any sit-ups. I didn't do anything I hated doing, essentially. It was horrible at times, but I made it as easy to sustain as possible. Problem number 2. For some of the men that I work with, the problem isn't necessarily that they're following the wrong plans. They've got an idea of what to do. They create a calorie deficit. They're doing some weight training. They know they need to eat healthily the majority of the time. They have the odd treat. They've got a good grasp of nutrition, and they've got a good understanding of that, and they're following it. Their problem is the consistency. I'll use my client Simon as an example. Came to me after many years of yo-yo dieting, gradually gained weight. I remember if he said after university, so in his early 20s, and then he came to me at 39, and he wanted to be in better shape for his 40th birthday because he just realized he just looked at his parents one day and was like, man, they haven't aged very well, and I don't want to be like that. Let's fix this for my 40th birthday. And he'd had a long history of yo-yo dieting. Now, he had about 7.5 stone to lose. For Americans that follow me, that's over 100 pounds, 105 pounds, I believe. That's a decent amount of weight to lose. And of course, I know it goes without saying, but if you've got 100 pounds to lose, if you stop every time you've lost 15 pounds and start again, you're never going to get there. It doesn't matter if you've got 20 pounds to lose. If every time you lose a bit of weight, you then go back to the start, you're never going to get there. The problem is how do you remain consistent? The first point I just covered was that some of you are following nutrition plans and diet plans that are very difficult to sustain. Okay, that's fine. We'll fix that. For some of you, it's often in here. And I'm not going to go down the mindset like a mindset guru. What I think is the problem here is people, it will get hard dieting. So if we use Simon as my case study, we worked together for about a year. So basically came to me around just after his 39th birthday, and he wanted to be in shape, or he wanted to be in better shape for his 40th birthday. Along the way, there were times when it got difficult. He didn't know how to do something. He didn't know how to manage holidays, or he was having stressful times at work. For other people, it may be relationship problems. When you're trying to lose weight, life gets in the way, whether or not that's kind of emotional, or you have busy times at work. And that is typically where people fall off the wagon. They they can lose weight when it's kind of smooth sailing, and then something comes up and then it throws them off, or they lose motivation, or they have, it all goes to shit. And then one of the things that happens very typically is they have a bad day or a bad week off the diet, off the training, or they go on holiday for a week and then they come back, or they go back, life goes back to normal, and they're unable to then kind of pick up where they left off, and they regain weight back. That is that's possibly a problem that a lot of you have had. Now, how do you fix that? Well, one, you should have people that actually support you. I don't think it's often a good idea to rely on, from what I've seen personally and what I've seen, I've been coaching people for, this is my 19th year working in fitness. So I have seen a lot of people trying to lose weight in 19 years. It's not a trivial amount of time. It's almost 2 decades. And if you include the people I helped while I was at university and stuff, we are looking at over 20 years. And you will be, a lot of those times when I've worked with people, they don't get the greatest amount of support from the people you'd think you get support from: family, friends, loved ones, colleagues at work, if you really want to love them in it. So here's the example. Everything's going well with the diet. Things are quite easy. You're losing weight. Then you have a stressful time at work. You've had a few bad days. You come home, and instead of someone being there to kind of either support you, or the other one is to hold you accountable, like your wife, they say, no, come on, let's, maybe have a day off from the eating, or maybe have a day off from the gym, have some rest, you're stressed, you haven't been sleeping well, and then encourage you to get back into it. They often do the opposite. And even after all these years, it still surprises me, but quite often in my coaching program has a group chat where all my clients are, and we use it to kind of motivate each other, keep each other accountable, and support each other. It's really common for the guys to come in and be like, my wife just said this about saying I'm training too much, or my friends just took the piss out of me for going to the gym too much, or they don't get the support they really need. Now, at a time when weight loss is becoming a challenge, like, think of it as it's a make or break. You've lost 10, 15 pounds. You're doing really well, but this is where you always get to. You always lose 10 or 15 pounds. You always get to that point, and then you regress and go back to normal. That is when you want people people around you to support you, help you get through it, answer questions, go to the gym with you, support you, that kind of thing. Or you want them to keep you accountable, and that could be just a good old-fashioned kick up the arse. In my coaching program, some of the reasons the guys like being there is that, we will, that people will say, why did you not do something? Why have you not done this? And there's people to keep you accountable. Why is this important? Well, if you think of it, it's like, I've lost no weight. I'm trying to do this on the laptop and the phone here. If you're thinking of it, it's like, I've lost no weight and this is my goal. Along the way, there are going to be times when it's challenging. I just don't think many men can do it on their own. And evidently, if you've been trying to lose weight for many years on your own and you keep failing, then the proof is there. You can't do it alone. What is the fix? Well, likely it's going to be, either a coaching program. If you can't go into a coaching program or you don't want one, a good old fashioned training partner, for example, was a good idea. And I think that could be, I think when I was in my 20s, it was easier to, it was far easier to coordinate with friends to train at the same time. I don't know if that's as easy now for some of the guys I work with. They train all over the place. A lot of my clients actually, they train at home because it just takes away the burden of the commute. They can do it as and when they need to, so they have to do it alone. So a training partner might not be a good idea. But I guarantee, if you've tried to lose weight on your own and you say to yourself, right, actually, next time I do this, I want someone there who's going to support me, or quite frankly, someone's going to call me out on my excuses and my bullshit and say, you said you wanted to lose weight because your doctor said you're a walking heart attack, or your kids keep saying you're porky, or, your sex life isn't great. You have no energy. You gave me all these reasons why you want to lose weight, why you need to lose weight. Why aren't you doing this? Why did you not make the time to go to the gym? Or why did you have those 5 beers? Sometimes you need people to call you out. I need people to do it. I have coaches that help me in business and productivity. When I did my bodybuilding competition, I had a fitness coach because it was I wanted to learn more about the process, but also just get into the getting on stage was going to be tough. Now the dog is barking because it's, like I said, it's that time of the day when people walk past the house, school finishes, etc. So that is what I see as the reasons for yo-yo dieting. You either are following a plan that you don't necessarily enjoy, you can't stick with, it's just horrible, and possibly you don't have the knowledge to do anything else. So if you are someone that is clueless about nutrition, when I was like 15, 16, I made lots of mistakes with nutrition because back then we just had bodybuilding magazines. So I would just follow training plans that bodybuilders did, or I remember that's the reason why I did a zero carb diet after 4 p.m. One of the magazines that I bought some fat burners from had the little diet at the back of the booklet, and I followed it. You don't know what you don't know. So sometimes if you're struggling with weight loss and you're a yo-yo dieter, it is quite simply that you're doing the wrong thing for you, and you're making it harder than it needs to be. It could also be, and sometimes it's both, that every time things get tough, and they will, you just don't have the support around you to help you get through tough times. Very common. Or you don't have anyone holding you accountable. If you're a grown man, a lot of my clients are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. Grown men, husbands, successful business owners. They don't have anyone telling them what to do. They don't have anyone saying, why did you order that pizza? They don't have anyone that's going to say, you said you're going to go to the gym today. Why have you laid in bed? No one does it to them, not even their partners. And even if their partners do it, as guys, they often be like, why? I'm not going to listen to it. So that's one of the things, one of the reasons why people hire coaches is because they need someone that they respect to hold them accountable. So if you're a yo-yo dieter, I suggest you ask yourself, what are these 3 things do I not have? Am I following the wrong plan? And maybe I need some knowledge. Maybe I'm a little bit clueless about diet, or maybe I overdid the training and I injured myself, or I did too much cardio and I got bored, or I went running and I hated it. How many people tell me, how many men say they have told me in the past that they decided to sign up to a marathon. And I'll be like, why? They'd be like, well, I needed that is kind of accountability in itself. It's like, I've got a set date, in the same way as when I did the bodybuilding competition, I had a set date. So that's good. The accountability is good. But the problem is often the guys I talk to say, I'm not particularly enjoying the running. And then when they, what happens when they get to the end of the marathon? When they do the marathon, they stop. Same with bodybuilding. When I did my competition, I didn't carry on the diet. It was too torturous. It's like you do the bodybuilding day, then after that, you're like, thank God for that. And 2 weeks later, I did the final, and then I don't know if I'll ever do one again, quite frankly, because it was tough, and my circumstances have changed now. I've got stepchildren, and my life's just in a different place to when I did the first bodybuilding competition. So some of you might be lacking knowledge, just that simple knowledge to say, this is not the right strategy for me, but if I try this, it'll be much easier. Some of you just don't have support, someone there to help you when you're struggling, and some of you just don't have people to hold you accountable. So the fix for yo-yo dieting is to find out why it's happening. A possible 4th one, because I'm a little bit obsessed with that program, My 600 Pound Life. And of course, I don't work with people that are 500 to 600 pounds typically. But when you watch that program, a lot of the people have eating problems that are emotional based. A lot of them will say, one lady really put it really perfectly once, and she said, I eat my emotions. So a possible 4th solution to yo-yo dieting could possibly be therapy. If you have a really poor relationship with food because of past traumas, or you have a really poor relationship with alcohol, I've seen what happens when you drink too much alcohol. My mum was an alcoholic and she died at 53. So, it does happen. So a possible 4th solution to yo-yo dieting could be therapy. You might need someone there who's a professional in finding out why you have such a bad relation with food. Typically with the men I work with who just have kind of dad bods, they're a little bit unhealthy, they haven't gone that far yet. Really what they need is a better plan, more support, more accountability. So those are the fixes. Homework to do. Be honest with yourself and ask yourself, what are those 3 do I not have? And if you can then go away and say, right, this is the reason why I failed to lose weight in the past. And sometimes you have to just be honest with yourself. Say, right, I wasn't fully committed. I did make excuses when, you know, I was a little bit tired after a day at work and I laid on the sofa instead of going to the gym, or this is this. You might say, right, sometimes you need to just hold your hand up and go, I'm the problem. Right, how can I fix that problem? Last story, I had a friend of mine had his friend had a really was really struggling with weight loss, and his other friend was saying to me they were in the pub having a few beers, and he was saying that you need to lose weight and blah blah blah. The guy that needed to lose weight was like, you're right, I need to do this, but I need some kind of skin in the game. I need some accountability. So while his friend was in the toilet, he transferred his mate £3,000. When the guy come back from the toilet, he said, if I don't lose, I can't remember, I think it was 3 stone. If I don't lose this amount of weight in the next 3 months, you can keep £3,000. Now, I'm not suggesting you go and give your friends money, but sometimes you need some kind of skin in the game. And the reason why I'd say that I use that story quite a lot is it shows a commitment. It shows that something in your head, and that has kind of changed. And you're saying to yourself, right, I'm going to bet on myself. That guy basically bet on himself. He put $3,000 on himself to lose weight. You could argue when people pay me to come into my coaching program, they're not just getting knowledge, support, and accountability. They are putting their money where their mouth is, literally, and saying, okay, well, I'm going to get all this information from Phil. He's going to help me lose weight. I'm going to have the community. I'm going to have all the benefits of this coaching program. But the added fear is also like, well, do I really want to lose that money? And that's for another story. So what I'm really saying is, you know, take some time to figure out why you think you haven't lost weight in the past. Think back to every time you've hit a plateau and you've stopped, or you've gone on holiday and then you've not gone back to the training. Try and pinpoint those few times. When I do like before anyone comes into my program, because I don't know if I can help everyone, and it obviously I don't want to let anyone in, and I don't want to let them down. We have a pretty detailed conversation on the phone or on Zoom. And these are some of the questions I'm going to ask them. You know, why do you think you failed in the past? What was happening to your life at that point? You know, what was your emotions? And they'll sometimes be like, you know, I just fell off the wagon. What we're trying to do is I'm trying to pinpoint the reason why they didn't lose weight. So then when they come into my program, they can. Let me get it back on mute. And of course, that is if I can help them. You know, sometimes someone will, if we go back to what I was saying about my £600 life people, like there will be men that contact me that I think your weight loss problem is beyond me. Like, I'm not a psychologist. Like, I feel like you need to go and sort out some other stuff first, then come back to more of a coach. So that's why, but my point is, if you can figure out what your problem is, you can start to find the solution. If you're somebody that is super motivated, like a lot of men I speak to are motivated, they'll go to the gym, they train, they eat well, they count calories, and they still don't lose any weight. They get frustrated and pissed off, then they quit. Well, if you spoke to me and we found that, I would be like, okay, cool. You're self-motivated. You're happy to go to the gym. A lot of the men I talk to will say, I enjoy exercise when I get into it. You just weren't seeing results. And that's, you know, the obvious answer to that is, let's change what you're doing. Let's change the training plan. Let's change the nutrition plan. Let's change the cardio. Like, I had a guy join my program about a week and a half ago, averaging like 1,600 calories. Quite a big guy. It was too low for him, and he was doing some other stuff that I thought was wrong. I put him on 2,600 calories, and he's lost a couple of pounds, and, you know, things are moving again. And it's just, sometimes you have to just change something. Right. So that's basically the live done. How to fix yo-yo dieting really is about finding out why. And then typically the answer is knowledge, support, accountability, or possibly a fourth, if you're really like struggling, you have many years, would possibly be some kind of therapy, which obviously is not down to me, because that's not what my job is, or I'm not qualified to do. Those of you who have been watching on Facebook and LinkedIn in front of me here, if you have liked this, you know, write a comment, ask questions, contact me. If you've got any questions, if you're interested in coaching, as I've said a few times, you know, I might be able to help, I might not. You can send me a message. Those of you on TikTok can follow me, of course, to see more of my content. I post 3 or 4 videos a day, and I'm trying to go live a bit more. And if you're saying to yourself, right, actually, all the things you said sound right, and I can't fix these on my own, he might be able to help. Either send me a message or just use the link in my bio, fill out the little form, and we can have a little chat at some point and go from there. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to get back to doing some other work. But you know where I am if you have questions. See you later.